It's midsummer here at Denver Botanic Gardens Chatfield Farms Plant Select Demonstration Garden, and it's time for our first round of deadheading. So if I'm going to go out deadheading, I grab a few tools. I grab my gloves, some shears here are an option for deadheading, even these electric trimmers you could use. But really for the most detailed deadheading, I like to use my pruners. So today I'm going to be deadheading the red feathers Echium mimoum. You can see I've got different stages of flowers going on here. Some are still blooming. You can even see there's a cute little bumblebee foraging on the remaining flowers. But once the red feathers is finished, it tends to brown out. As you can see here on this stem, it turns brown, kind of crusty, not really attractive. So this plant is a little spiky. It's not gonna prick you in the way a cactus would, but it is just a little spiny, so I do like to have gloves on whenever I'm deadheading it. But the reason I like to use pruners instead of hedge trimmers or shears is because if you look closely, there are some nodes further down the stem. Those nodes will eventually turn into flowering stalks if you deadhead them down to the nodes. So as I work here, I'm gonna find some healthy nodes, trim it back. You can see those nodes right here where the plant is going to branch back out. Get this one out of the way. So then you can see here, this is what the finished product is gonna look like. Maybe not the most attractive at first, but once these flush out and start to bloom, you will get a second flush. That second flush is not gonna be as impressive as the initial one, but I like to get as much flower power as possible. But there's always the option to just cut it all the way down. And then you have kind of a more attractive looking rosette that will just kind of sit there for the rest of the summertime. It's really your personal preference. So the Echium I showed you does not really have attractive seed heads, but there are other plant select plants that do. So this Eriogonum umbulatum has very attractive seed heads. Once the flowers are finished, I usually leave those seed heads standing because they will darken. They're going to turn kind of a coppery reddish color, and it's worth leaving until a little bit later after those seeds dehiss and fall off the plant. If you're looking for a quicker way to deadhead with, say, something like these shears, these Columbines might be a good candidate. There's quite a few of them here, as you can see, in a less visible area, and it would be very tedious to come through with pruners and deadhead every single one. They also are unlikely to have a second flush of flowers. So take the electric hedge trimmers here, kind of come through, just trying to target those flowering stalks to leave some foliage down below. So you can see the finished product after using the electric shears. You can see there's still some stems kind of coming up here, so you would have to come back through with some pruners, clean it up a little bit, make it look a little neater. And you can see here, definitely gets the job done to get the seed heads off. Just a faster way to do it. There are many reasons to deadhead plants, whether that is to remove seeds so that you don't get any seedlings coming off of a plant, or you could be doing it to make sure the plant focuses on root growth as opposed to producing seed, focuses its energy down below, especially if it's a new plant. You could also just be deadheading for a more manicured look in the garden. It's really up to you. As I showed you, that Echium doesn't exactly have attractive seed heads once it's finished blooming, so that is why I choose to deadhead it. I also do the deadheading to make sure I get that little second flush of flowers for the pollinators that really love that plant. Thank you for watching and tuning in. It's a busy season here at Chatfield Farms. Make sure you come down and say hello, and we'll see you next time.